Hey guys, this is Tracy Kaywood with Property Mob, the makers of badass investors. And today I'm bringing to you a topic that is or can be challenging as a real estate wholesaler. But first I have to tell you about something that we're doing inside our membership right now. We have a secret Facebook group and our own page called the Mobsters Lounge, and only the members of Property Mob have access to that. So you can't even find the page on Facebook if you search for it. It's secret, so we actually have to invite you personally. But we're doing something today called Hour by Hour, where the members of the group, including myself, are posting everything that we do during the day, hour by hour. And as I speak right now, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I have to tell you that the posts that I see, including my own posts, are just really opening my eyes to something that I think everybody is really striving for when they start pursuing a career as a real estate investor or wholesaler, and that is the truly amazing sense of freedom that you get when you have the ability to manage your day like you want. So these posts that I'm seeing from the people who are participating, and like I said, even myself, I'm posting, well, they're calling me minute by minute because I have plenty of updates, but it's really fascinating. It's very remarkable and it's very impressive, and it just is, a realization that this business is truly phenomenal and can really just create a great life for yourself, and stress-free and amazing life. So anyway, so my topic today is what to do if your seller wants to back out of your deal. So not the most positive thing to discuss, but definitely it's going to happen to you. If you are in the real estate business, it's going to happen. Whether you're a wholesaler, rehabber, buying yourself, landlord, doesn't matter. It's just part of the game, right? So we know this is a numbers game, and it's just part of what happens, whether it's contracts falling through, you're not able to sell your deals, sellers backing out are going to be part of what you experience. So I'm going to go over with you how to handle this, what you should do, well, maybe the warning signs, and kind of realistically what you can expect if a seller tries to back out on a deal. So some of the reasons sellers back out of deals. Well, there's a couple of reasons. There's certainly not one underlying reason why these people change their mind. But, after dealing with many of these, you start to see a pattern, and it's one of a handful of reasons why they're backing out. One is going to be that they have seller remorse. So they've agreed to a price with you, and maybe they're under a bit of distress at the moment, and most likely they are, because you're working with motivated sellers. So they may have remorse, and those people, it usually happens immediately. Within 24 hours, they're changing their mind. Like, I don't want to do this. I've changed my mind. And they say, I'm just not going to sell the house. Okay, fair enough. That's one of the reasons that you're going to get for sellers backing out. Another one is they've talked to some friend or family, and they've talked them out of it. So like, what are you doing? You could get more for this. I'll buy it from you. So a friend or family has kind of, made them change their mind and steered them into another direction. Another reason sellers are going to back out of your contract is another investor has come along and offered them a higher purchase price. This is going to be your most common reason why sellers want to back out of the deal, and quite frankly, the one that's going to piss you off the most. So as far as a time frame, like I said, if it's seller remorse, it's going to be immediate. Same day, within 24 hours, you're going to get that phone call or an email or a text from the seller saying, I changed my mind, I'm not going to sell the house. Otherwise, a seller back out is usually going to happen within 7 to 10 days from the day that you get it signed. So is that set in stone? No, but statistically and from experience, that's what I can tell you can expect is that within 7 to 10 days, if they're going to change their mind, that's when you're going to hear from them. Sometimes changing their mind about selling really means they don't answer your phone calls. So you're trying to get a hold of them and communicate with them about something, maybe title problem or coordinate a closing. They don't answer. They're just ignoring you and avoiding you. That's a good indicator they might be trying to back out of the deal. But 7 to 10 days, that's enough time for them to, maybe have pulled in another offer from another investor that's higher, or somebody has talked them into accepting a different offer and just said, just cancel your contract with them. You never know what people are out there telling your sellers. But kind of the timeline. So if you go, 30 days, you don't hear anything and you're ready to close, most likely you're going to get to the closing table. So first 7 to 10 days, be alert for that and know how to handle it if it does come up. So how do you handle it when a seller wants to back out of your deal? Well, I could come up with some ways, but let's keep it ethical. It's really a case-by-case scenario. So you can decide mutually, okay, it's no big deal, I understand. Maybe they have a legitimate reason why they're backing out, and you can empathize with them. Okay, so that's why I said case by case. You can kind of make a discretionary decision based on what you know about that seller, how they presented the cancellation to you, and what the reason is for backing out. I've had some where we just agree. We are both conceding to the fact that this deal isn't going to happen, and we just let them go. A good example of that would be we had an elderly lady who just didn't know where she was going to move and, wasn't real confident in her decision and canceled the contract. Well, of course, that is nothing I'm going to pursue. I'm not going to press that lady into selling her house. So we just cancel the contract and we move on with our life, and everybody goes on their separate ways. So you can decide on a case-by-case scenario. You don't have to put the hammer down on everybody, whether or not to just part your ways, as friends. If, in the case, you feel like they've sold it to another investor for a higher price, or somebody is trying to go around you and maybe get the deal from the seller, just something isn't right, no real reason for cancellation, or maybe you've already sold the house to a buyer and y'all are ready to close and you're losing some potential profit. This is where you decide on, a different path of how you're going to handle the seller backing out. In this case, we file an affidavit and memorandum. Now, I have a completely different term for this document, but we only discuss that term in the Mobsters Lounge. Only our members know that term, and it's a little more darkness attached to that, but we'll just call it an affidavit memorandum. That's the technical term for this document. So what this is a one-page document that you present in front of a notary, and you are testifying to the fact that you have a signed contract with your seller. It's fully executed, and you have every intent on closing on this transaction. You need this document signed and notarized by you. It does not have to be signed and notarized by the seller. Only you. You're the one that is making a statement. You're signing an affidavit that says, I do have a signed agreement with this person. Your contact information goes on it. You take it downtown and you record the affidavit memorandum. What this does is create a lien or a cloud on the title for the seller. When the seller, or if the seller, decides at a later date to sell this property to some other investor or their neighbor, whatever they decide, then this lien or this cloud on the title is going to come up. Your affidavit and memorandum that's been recorded is going to show up in the title search. That is when the title company will contact you based on the contact information that you have listed on the affidavit in the public records, and that is when you will then settle the agreement with the seller. So determining on a settlement amount, it's discretionary. It's your call. So you don't want to be ridiculous. They're coming to you to release this lien on the property, to release this cloud on the title. So we really don't like to get to this point, but we will. We will go there if the seller tries to back out of a contract that we have executed with them. So we kind of make a decision here. If we've already sold the house to a buyer and it, sold our contract and it's pending escrow, the close of escrow, then the amount we were going to make as an assignment fee is what we want. And that's what we want now in return to release this lien if they were not able to sell the property to us at the time we were ready. If we had not sold it yet, then our anticipated assignment fee is going to be what we are trying to collect to release this lien on the seller's property. So it's not really ideal. You don't want this to be the way your transactions go. In the world where we're solving problems for sellers and creating solutions, then it's all about the communication up front and establishing that relationship with the seller and knowing their real reason for selling and agreeing to a price that everybody is happy with before you sign. That way you don't end up with sellers trying to back out for higher prices. Sometimes the higher price offers and investors coming behind you with higher offers, sellers they just disregard that because they know they've already entered into an agreement with you. So that's kind of the process. It's very standard and customary for real estate wholesalers to file an affidavit memorandum if the seller is trying to back out of your deal. Ideally, we don't want that to happen. We want everybody to be satisfied when the contract is signed and be moving toward a satisfactory closing within the time frame that we're allowed on our contract. But in case you have to, it's kind of the outline on the steps to take and, how to make a critical decision like that. You don't want to be known as the asshole, right? So a copy of the affidavit memorandum is available in our members area on our website, along with all kinds of cool resources and training courses and stuff. So maybe you want to check that out if you have a chance. Otherwise, I will see you next time for another cool tip from Property Mob, the makers of Badass Investors. Catch you later.